YouTube, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. We're here for today's episode at the Bettor's Edge. The sun is shining. We got 70-degree weather out here. You can't beat it. We're getting straight into it, guys. We are going to West Lafayette. We have a top 15 showdown in the Big Ten. It's the best game on the card by far. There's a lot to dissect in this matchup. I'm just going to give you a lean on this game before I get into my play of the day, moving into the Summit League. We have Izzo, we have Sparty, the 13th ranked team in the country, number 4 ranked in the Big Ten, on the road against the Purdue Boilermakers. This game is easy to break down, guys. Purdue right now is the 5th ranked team in the Big Ten. This game is going to determine essentially the tiebreaker for the seeding between these two teams for the Big Ten tournament, which should be coming up shortly in about 2 weeks or so. With that said, you have a Sparty team right now that ranks 15th in the country in points per possession allowed. This is one of, as usual, with Izzo and his squads, one of the best defensive teams in the country. We talk quite a bit on this show about shooting splits home and away. What's really interesting about Sparty this season is their road splits and their road performance shooting is significantly better than their home splits. So you're actually getting a team tonight in Sparty that you can expect to shoot the ball from three-point range a little bit better than they do at home. This is obviously a team with Izzo and Sparty that's going to control the glass. This is a team that ranks top 15 in the country as well in limiting second chance opportunities to their opponent. So they're going to slow down Purdue offensively, and they're going to slow down Purdue from creating second chance opportunities. This line right now is sitting at Purdue minus 7.5. This is a Purdue team, not only at home, but encompassing their entire season, that's a top 10 team in the country offensively. They know how to score the basketball. However, as we talked about, the Sparty defense is great at not only limiting teams from scoring, but they're also great at limiting second chance opportunities. What this game is going to come down to is, are we going to see the trend of Sparty continue to shoot the ball better away from home, or are we going to see that statistic kind of revert back to the mean, not for them as a team, but just traditionally speaking, when you factor in how teams typically perform? If they continue to shoot the ball better away from home than they do at home, and we get that type of performance from them tonight, you're going to see a nip and tuck game in West Lafayette that's going to come down to the wire, and you might even see Sparty on upset alert in the sense of upsetting Purdue on the road and come out of this with an outright victory. However, this Sparty team recently, not necessarily on the road, we saw them lose at home by double digits to the Michigan Wolverines. Granted, Michigan's probably a step up in class over this Purdue team, but we also saw this Sparty team get absolutely wrecked on the road versus Wisconsin about 2 weeks ago. I think they lost that game by 22 points. That's a game in which Wisconsin put up 90 plus. They're an inferior offensive opponent than Purdue. And we also saw Sparty on the road in that matchup not shoot the ball quite as well as they have in other road games, only producing 71 points in that matchup against Wisconsin. So basically what I'm saying is this game against the number is going to be determined by what type of shooting performance we get from this Spartans team. If you're asking me right now which way I lean, just based off of pure numbers, 7.5, I think the eye test tells me that that's probably too many points. However, that's not where my lean is. I think you're going to see a Purdue team that shows up tonight at home, that's going to put in an inspired effort, that's really going to try to make up for lack of a better term, a porous home performance versus Michigan last week and try to amend that tonight versus Sparty. I don't think we're going to see the Spartans team shoot the ball quite as well away from home as they have for the majority of the season. I'm afraid we're going to see a similar performance from them that we saw versus Wisconsin. I'm not necessarily saying they're going to lose this game by 20 plus, but what I am saying is, at the end of the day, I do think the Boilermakers find a way to win this game by double digits, if not double digits, very close to double digits, 8, 9, 10 plus points. Only a lean, not an official play. Give me the Boilermakers at home to cover the 7.5 points. As I talked about, I do have a game of the day and an official pick for you guys this evening. We're going to the Summit League. We have North Dakota State, the number 1 team in the Summit League. They've already won the conference outright. On the road against the number 2 team in the Summit League, St. Thomas. These are 2 teams, as is the case this late in the season in most conferences, not all, but in most conferences, that have already played this season. We saw North Dakota State at home win this matchup. I want to say it was by 3 points earlier this season. 2 different things you have to take into consideration. Number 1, I mentioned it already. North Dakota State has already won the conference. When you're dealing with 2 teams that are neck and neck as far as how they play stylistically and how they match up against each other, there's not a huge gap between these 2 teams. That little bit of an edge that might not necessarily be there tonight because the conference is already wrapped up, the regular season standings that is, wrapped up for North Dakota State. That little bit of an edge may not be there tonight. With that said, heading into the conference tournament, this is an opportunity not only for St. Thomas's players, but also for their coaching staff to really motivate that team, get that team feeling good about themselves, not only collectively internally, but going up head-to-head against the number 1 seed in the conference. If they can find a way to win this game here tonight, it's going to give them a mentality and a motivational edge should they meet in the conference tournament championship game and give them belief that they can win that game. If they're going to lose this matchup tonight, especially in a game that doesn't really have any meaning to North Dakota State, rest assured, if they meet again in a third matchup, it's going to have the opposite effect. From a psychological standpoint, this game has loads of meaning for St. Thomas, and it doesn't have a ton of meaning for North Dakota State. Stylistically, let's move the psychology and the situational spot out of the way. These are 2 teams that match up very, very well against each other. These are teams that shoot the ball really well. Both of these teams, especially St. Thomas, from 2, they're the best 2-point shooting team in the country. They also shoot the 3 ball very well. North Dakota State also shoots the 3 ball very well. These are 2 teams that love to get up and down the court. You're going to see a fast-paced game. These are teams that take care of the ball relatively well, especially St. Thomas, one of the top 25 teams in the country as far as protecting the ball and not turning it over. Both of these teams like to force turnovers. However, as I just mentioned, St. Thomas is a little bit better at protecting the ball and not turning it over. The one advantage that North Dakota State does have, and we saw it play out in the first matchup, is they're going to dominate the glass. They're going to be able to create second chance opportunities, maybe even third chance opportunities. I want to say they had somewhere in the neighborhood of 18 or 19 offensive rebounds in that first matchup. St. Thomas is going to have to do a better job on the defensive boards tonight if they want to win this game, that is for sure. However, the edge that St. Thomas has, as I mentioned, is offensively. They're the best two-point shooting team in the country. They shoot the three ball as far as percentage and as far as three balls made per game. Top 40, top 45 team in the country. And the big advantage that they have is defensively, especially in the interior. They're a top 50 team in the country at contesting two-point shots. We saw that also play out on the road in their first matchup. We saw North Dakota State at home, in a win, mind you, shoot less than 40% overall and less than 40% as well from three. I think there were some in the neighborhood of like 35, 34% from three in that first matchup. The free throw line wasn't a huge disparity in the first game, but what ended up winning that game for North Dakota State was the offensive glass. As I mentioned to start this show, in my opinion, this is the best spot on the board for today. You're getting St. Thomas at home. It's a bit of a revenge spot. Psychologically, they know they have to win this game going into the conference tournament to give them a little bit of a mental edge over North Dakota State should these two teams meet in the championship game, because they're in line to do so as we speak this morning. With that said, it's a 10-star play. It's the best bet on the board. Give me St. Thomas at home, minus 3 points. I think these two teams are neck and neck on a neutral court. We have the home court advantage. We have the psychological edge tonight with St. Thomas. And I wouldn't be shocked whatsoever if this is an absolute blowout because of the situation at hand. 10-star play, St. Thomas minus 3. Best bet in college hoops tonight, guys. I'll be back tomorrow for more picks, more winners. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Have a good one, guys.